Today we are covering Microsoft 365 Security Administration MS-500. To find the complete list of questions and answers, please go to the playlist link provided in the description. Question is, you have an Azure Sentinel workspace that has an Azure Active Directory, Azure AD connector, and an Office 365 connector. From the workspace, you plan to create a scheduled query rule that will use a custom query. The rule will be used to generate alerts when inbound access to Office 365 from specific user accounts is detected. You need to ensure that when multiple alerts are generated by using the rule, the alerts are consolidated as a single incident per user account. What should you do? Option A. From set rule logic, map the entities. Option B. From analytic rule details, configure severity. Option C. From set rule logic, get suppression to off. Option D. From analytic rule details, configure tactics. Correct answer is option A. Next question is drag and drop. You have an Azure Sentinel workspace that has an Office 365 connector. You are threat hunting events that have suspicious traffic from specific IP addresses. You need to save the events and the relevant query results for the future reference. Which three actions should you perform in sequence? To answer, move the appropriate actions from the list of actions to the answer area and arrange them in the correct order. This is the answer area. And this is the correct answer. Next question is, you create an Azure Sentinel workspace. You configure Azure Sentinel to ingest data from Azure Active Directory, Azure AD. In the Azure Active Directory Admin Center, you discover Azure AD Identity Protection alerts. The Azure Sentinel workspace shows the status as shown in the following exhibit. In Azure Log Analytics, you can see Azure AD data in the Azure Sentinel workspace. What should you configure in Azure Sentinel to ensure that incidents are created for detected threats? Option A. Data connectors. Option B. Rules. Option C. Workbooks. Option D. Hunting queries. Correct answer is option B. Next question is, you have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription that has Microsoft 365 Defender enabled. You plan to deploy a third-party app named App1 that will receive alert data from Microsoft 365 Defender. Which format will Microsoft 365 Defender use to send the alert data to App1? Option A. JSON. Option B. ZIP. Option C. XML. Option D. CSV. Correct answer is option A. Next question is drag and drop. You have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription. You plan to implement Azure Sentinel to create incidents based on first, Azure Active Directory, Azure AD Identity Protection alerts. Second, correlated events from the device process events table. Which analytic rule types should you use for each incident type? To answer, drag the appropriate rule types to the correct incident types. Each rule type may be used once, more than once, or not at all. You may need to drag the split bar between pens to or scroll to view the content. This is the instruction for real exam. Now this is the answer area. And this is the correct answer. Next question is, you have a Microsoft 365 E5 subscription. You need to use attack simulation training to launch a credential harvest simulation. For which Microsoft 365 workloads can you create a payload? Option A, Microsoft Exchange Online only. Option B, Microsoft Teams, Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, and OneDrive. Option C, Microsoft Teams and Exchange Online only. Option D, Microsoft SharePoint Online and OneDrive only. Correct answer is option A,